Good morning, everyone. It is Angie Coley, and today I wanted to talk to you about competition. So I've coached a lot of up-and-coming entrepreneurs, people who are just starting a freelance business or who've been in it a while. They want to expand into a new market, and competition is something that we should all be thinking about. But I've got some counterintuitive things, a way to think about competition that might not be obvious from the surface, but I think you can use to your advantage if you're strategic about this. So first of all, I want to point out that competition is a good thing. It means that there's a healthy market there with people spending a lot of money. That means that you can easily carve out your little chunk of it and then grow bigger as the market grows, as the market pivots. So I've heard this a lot. I know someone who wants to be a baker, and we had talked about the idea of starting a YouTube channel with baking, and the knee-jerk reaction was, but there are so many baking channels. Yeah, but none of them are you. So your unique take, your secret sauce on this is always going to be the X factor that other people don't have. A million people could talk about baking in their own unique ways, but it won't click for someone until they hear it the way you have to say it. And so that's why it's important to not focus on what other people are saying or how it's saying or how often this message has been repeated. I'm not teaching any new concepts in entrepreneurship or in copywriting, but it's the way that I have interpreted them, have distilled them and filtered them through my own unique life experiences in the way that I talk that resonates with a lot of people, and that's still valuable. So don't be afraid of competition. Competition is a good sign. It means that you could make a good living out of this. You don't want to be the first to market unless you got a lot of venture capital or a ton of savings after you so that you have a chance to prove that there are people who will buy this brand new thing. Don't go after a new market. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look for competition. It's actually a good thing. So in that vein, especially in the writing world, the copywriting world, there's this notion that other copywriters, other entrepreneurs are competitors. And that may be true to a certain extent, but that doesn't mean that they're your enemy. So I want to make that clear distinction. Competition doesn't mean enemies. In fact, if you're really smart about who you connect with, competition can be a great source of lead referrals, of subcontracting, of partnership and alliances. So I would urge you not to see other people who are doing what you're doing as direct competitors who are stealing business from you. They're, especially in freelancing, if you get fully booked up and you don't have any capacity to take on any work, but you want to make sure that a prospect gets taken care of, that's a prime opportunity to call up a colleague and say, hey, I know that you do good work. Will you take care of this person? Do you have some space open on your calendar? Well, that's business for me. If someone just passed that along because they know that I do good work and I'm not over here going, I can't talk to you, you're a competition. So don't burn bridges, don't trash competitors, because if you make alliances with competitors, obviously don't give away trade secrets or anything like that, but there's nothing wrong with being friends with the competition, so to speak, because the more we grow, the more we can pull people up with us. And then the third thing that I wanted to talk about kind of in this vein is a lot of people who are deciding when they get into entrepreneurship on a market, they're deciding on a market. They feel this need to stay super high level because that feels like where there's more opportunity. And I get that, but that's also where there's more competition and it's harder to stand out. The real power is in drilling down into the people that you like to work with, the projects that you like to work on, the type of stuff that you're really good at and that you enjoy. And once you start narrowing that, you're going to start attracting better qualified people who have more money to spend on you. It's very scary because it feels like you're cutting out this big section of people who could potentially hire you and focusing on this much smaller section of people that could hire you. But you're not for everybody. And even if you were for everybody, you can't possibly work with everyone. I want to emphasize this because when I first went out on my own, I had 3 clients at the same time. And at one point I was about to tear out my hair with the amount of work that I was doing for 3 clients. Now, I could have structured deals better, I could have subcontracted. There's a lot of ways that I could solve that problem, but I just want to point out that I am one person and I got flustered at 3 clients. Your mileage may vary, but when you start thinking about 7 billion people on this planet, way more than that at this point, and the size of your business, remember, there's no way you could possibly work with 7 billion people even if you wanted to. So there's no harm in going after a market that's maybe a couple hundred or a couple thousand instead of aiming for 1 million. So that's what I've got for you today. If you've got some value out of this, make sure to give it a share, give it a like, leave me a comment, and let's go kick some ass.